Hello, I love you. Hello, I love you. I need love. Love you, love you. Intermix sector. Here we are. Here we are. Intermix sector. Here we are. I love you. I need love. I love you. Intermix sector. Subscribe. Subscribe. I'm good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, let's go this one. What this one say? We're gonna, yeah, fuck you. Love you.
Which app is best for free streaming? Menos Cora, to find the best app
Oh,
for
what the
free
hell?
streaming.
Stop. You're naughty. You're naughty boy. Naughty boy.
Identify the categories of what to
Hey, yo, naughty boy.
which app is best for free streaming. Quora. To find the best app for free streaming, you have firstly to identify the categories of what to stream. But here I'm going to give you general apps, some are free and others are a little bit costly. By the way, I can't endorse or promote illegal activities, including unauthorized streaming of copyrighted content. However, there are legal streaming platforms like YouTube, Crackle, and Tubi that offer free content. Additionally, some services have free versions with limited content, like Hulu and Peacock. Always respect copyright laws and terms of service. Let me explain. Hand pointing down with back of hand, showing hand pointing down with back of hand, showing hand pointing down with back of hand showing. Streaming apps are applications that allow you to watch movies, TV shows, live streams, and more on your device without downloading them. There are many streaming apps available, but not all of them are free, legal, face, or reliable as I mentioned above. Reversed hand with middle finger extended. Reversed hand with middle finger extended. This app is the most popular and widely used video sharing platform in the world. You can find millions of videos here, including some full-length movies. However, not all movies on YouTube are free or legal. So you have to be careful and check the force and the license of each video. You can also use a YouTube downloader software or app to save the videos offline. This app is a free streaming service that offers a variety of movies and TV shows, mostly from Sony's own library. You can watch them online or download them to your device using the Tubi app. However, the app is only available in the US, and it has a lot of ads. This app is a media server software that lets you organize and stream your own media collection, such as photos, music, videos, and more. You can also access thousands of free movies and TV shows from Plex partners, such as Crackle, Lionsgate, MGM, and more. You can watch them online or download them to your device using the Plex app. This app is a digital video store that lets you rent or buy movies and TV shows. However, it also has a free section where you can watch hundreds of movies and TV shows for free, with ads. You can watch them online or download them to your device using the Vudu app. These are just some of the best and most popular free streaming apps that I found for you. There are many more, but you have to be careful and do your own research before using them. Always check the legality, safety, and quality of the streaming apps before using them. Also, respect the rights of the creators and the distributors, and do not engage in piracy or illegal streaming. I hope this helps you find some streaming apps that you can enjoy for free. Suggestions for comparing YouTube TV free trial via Sling TV Blue free trial. Flash cord cutters. I just signed up for the YouTube free 10-day trial and will sign up for the Fling TV Blue free trial tomorrow. Any suggestions for a good way to kick the tires and put them both through their paces? I want to alternate between the two platforms over the next few days. And want to before I'm exercising all the features. What's exclusive to one that the other doesn't have, or what the UX feels like in each of them? How easy is it to create favorites or filters, etc.? I don't watch sports or kid shows, so I don't care about those things. Best free TV streaming services: Pluto TV, Tubi, Freevee and more. CNET. Written by Courtney Jackson, Mira Arsenberg. Our expert, award-winning staff selects the products we cover and rigorously researches and tests our top picks. If you buy through our link, we may get a commission. Reviews ethics statement. Courtney Jackson, Senior Editor. Courtney covers TV streaming services and home entertainment news and reviews at CNET. She previously worked as an entertainment reporter at Showbiz Cheat Sheet, where she wrote about film, television, music, celebrities, and streaming platforms. Expertise. Courtney is a longtime cord cutter who's subscribed to streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Crunchyroll, Sling, Spotify and more. As a real-life user of these services, she tracks the latest developments in streaming, the newest credentials. Though Courtney hasn't won any journalism awards yet, she's been a Netflix streaming subscriber since 2012 and knows the magic of its hidden codes. Ty Pendlebury Dieter. Ty Pendlebury is a journalism graduate of Ahmed, Melbourne, and has worked at CNET since 2006. He lives in New York City, where he writes about streaming and home audio. Expertise. He has worked for radio, print, and online publications, and has been writing about home entertainment since 2004. He majored in cinema studies when studying at Ahmed. He is an avid record collector and streaming music enthusiast. Credentials. Ty was nominated for Best New Journalist at the Australian Journalism Awards, but he has only ever won one thing. As a youth, he was awarded a free session for the photography studio at a local supermarket. Mira Arsenberg writer. Mira covers streaming service news for CNET. She recently graduated from the University of Texas at Austin, where she wrote for her college newspaper, The Daily Texian, as well as for state and local magazines. When she's not writing, she likes to dote over her cat, sip black coffee and try out new horror movies. CNET's expert staff reviews and rates dozens of new products and services each month, building on more than a quarter century of expertise. Some free streaming platforms offer both live and on-demand content, or only one type. If you like to channel hop, then a service like Pluto may be your first pick over Tubi or Freevee. But because they are all free, you can get more than one without hurting your wallet. Only one service on this list is completely ad-free, so you should decide if the commercials are worth the trade-off during your viewing experience. The ads are not that heavy in Tubi, but you may discover they are unbearable on another service. Choose according to your tolerance level. Not every free streaming service is loaded with kid-friendly titles, so scroll through the live and on-demand lineups to see who carries the most age-appropriate content. You can also check out our best streaming services list for kids for recommendations on free platforms. She at Tubi TV. Best free TV streaming service overall. Tubi TV view details. She at Roku. Best for Roku users. Roku channel view details. She at Amazon. Best for originals, cult favorites, TV shows. Freevee view details. She at Fling. Best recently revamped service. Fling free stream view details. What's the best overall free TV streaming service? It's good to explore all of the free TV streaming services you can. After all, you can switch between as many of them as you want, as often as you want, without ever spending a cent. But if we had to choose only one free TV service to crown the best, it would be Tubi. The Soxone brand touts an easy-to-use interface and excellent on-demand library. And the inclusion of popular DC movies in the platform next year is an impressive perk. Still, you shouldn't shut yourself off to other options on this list. Pluto TV could easily take the top spot for you as you are a dedicated channel flipper. While there are plenty of benefits of streaming TV for free, you should keep in mind that, in most cases, ads are the price you're paying for no cost. Entertainment. Most of the free services have older shows and movies, sort of like basic cable reruns. Here's more on why we think Tubi is the best, plus other legal ways to indulge your inner couch potato. Read more: the best live TV streaming services for cord cutters. Best free TV streaming services of 2023. Tubi TV offers considerably more free movies than TV shows, but it continues to grow its extensive library and its live channel lineup. This ad-supported network doesn't require an account, though signing up for one enables you to save favorites and resume playback if you switch between devices. Tubi offers nationwide and local news live streams in addition to live sports, weather and entertainment channels. The streaming site's TV selection offers some of the reality shows we've come to expect, such as Hell's Kitchen and Dance Moms. plus oddball inclusions such as the Australian drama McLeod's Daughters. The platform recently announced that DC movies like The Batman and Black Adam are arriving on demand in 2024. To watch TV series on demand, you can browse by title, network or genre, including a Tubi Kids category. Not every show has full seasons available, but you'll find Hannibal, Columbo and 14 seasons of Degrassi, The Next Generation among the choices. There are also a handful of Tubi originals as well as feature films, such as John Wick and 2001: A Space Odyssey. Pluto TV is noteworthy for offering not only on-demand, free movie streaming, but also more than 250 live and linear channels on the platform, including BBC Shoot, CSI, Star Trek and CBS News. Because it's a Paramount-owned brand, Pluto also has episodes of shows like Criminal Minds and Survivor. Pluto offers an impressive selection of live channels sorted into categories like news, reality, sports, comedy and movies in a grid format. On-demand TV content is organized into TV drama shows, sitcoms, crime, action series, sci-fi and more. The layout is not nearly as slick as the live channels, but there's a variety of genres. One oddity, if you're watching a live stream, there's no way to pause. You can only mute it. Roku Channel is a free TV streaming service designed for people who own the company's streaming device Fan TVS. But it's also available via Roku's apps for phones and tablets as well as online. The Roku Channel offers more than 350 live channels, including a channel guide, with its existing selection of on-demand content. While the linear TV includes live news and lifestyle channels, the on-demand content ranges from Roku originals like the Weird Al Yankovic biopic, to reality TV hoarders, Kitchen Nightmares, to popular series like To Broke Girls and House. You'll also find an I'm Live and on-demand and crime shows. Unfortunately, not every TV series is complete. Bewitched, for example, and the service offers only a single episode in some cases. There's plenty of stuff to watch, however, including a dedicated kids section. There's also a solid array of classic movies, including It's a Wonderful Life and E.T. the Extraterrestrial. In addition, you can subscribe to premium services including HBO, much like you can via Prime Video channel for the Apple TV app, formerly known as IMDb TV. Freevi's Amazon's ad-supported streaming service that features a motherload of TV shows and movies. In addition, you can stream Freevee originals and a string of 24/7 live channels. Though the service's initial focus was primarily on movie streaming, it's now filled with TV shows too. Popular movies like Ted are available, as well as Leverage and all 11 seasons of The X-Files. Other titles include MacGyver the Reboot, Desperate Housewives, Good Times, Freevee original Jury Duty and 9 seasons of the Gen X classic, Little House on the Prairie, starring Michael Landon. Notably, full seasons of Prime Video original series like Homecoming and Upload plus movies like The Vast of Night are also available to stream, for free with ads on the service. Though Sling's live TV packages start at $40, Sling Freestream offers more than 40,000 titles of free on-demand TV and movies and over 400 live TV channels. Sling Freestream is a bulked-up and rebranded version of Sling TV's former offering, Sling Free. Sling TV's free streaming service includes live streams for news, entertainment, sports, kids and more. You'll find channels for ABC News Live, The Walking Dead Universe, Bon Appetit, Barstool Sports and on-demand selections including Ryan's World, Kim's Convenience, and The Goonies. You do not need to create an account when watching Sling Freestream, but if you do, it makes it easier to personalize what you watch. Create profiles or use parental controls. The service is reportedly considering giving people who create an account access to a free DVR. Though there's nothing official on that yet. The service is available to watch on a web browser and via the Sling app. No payment information is required for viewing. Crackle is an ad-supported streaming service that offers mostly movies, but also some TV shows, including original content. It doesn't require you to set up an account, but doing so enables you to save favorites, get recommendations and resume playback if you switch between devices. Crackle's commercial-supported selection has expanded with over 300 different shows and mainly consists of older releases such as The Carol Burnett Show, Alf and Highway to Heaven. As with other free services, however, not every TV series is complete. You might get only 1 or 2 seasons, or even just a partial season. There are movie selections from the 1940s to the present, including Showsies Choice and Halloween. Starting as a way for users to stream content stored on users' computers, Plex has evolved to incorporate other forces such as OTA broadcasts, Tidal and free streaming TV. You don't need to install the Plex server, you just stream it with the basic Plex app, or if you want, sign up for an account. Plex free streaming service operates similarly to Pluto. The offering started with a modest slate of ad-supported content, mostly movies. But Plex has since entered a partnership with Crackle, offering thousands more TV shows and movies from that service. In addition to on-demand content like Broadchurch and Kitchen Nightmares, Plex also offers live TV channels like Stories by AMC, Hallmark and Nice 24/7 streams for certain series, including The Walking Dead. Movie fans can search by title and genre. Or you can check out themed collections, such as cheap thrills or midnight movies. Got a library card? Check to see if your library has partnered with Hoopla. This digital media service allows you to check out all kinds of stuff, from ebooks to movies to TV shows. When you borrow one, you have 72 hours in which to watch it. Your library determines the total number of titles you can borrow each month. An added bonus for this service is there are no commercials interrupting your viewing experience. Hoopla's TV selection is something of a hodgepodge, with a smattering of well-known shows mixed in with a lot of self-help, documentary and family fare. For example, you'll find 2 seasons of Chewing Gum, both seasons of The Jim Gaffigan Show and lots of Ken Burns documentaries. Hoopla also has instructional videos from the Great Courses series, various PBS Kids shows and plenty of Acorn TV content that would otherwise require a subscription. Film selections rotate on and off the platform, so be sure to check the rotation on a regular basis. HP EnvyMove All-in-One 24 review, the desktop you can take with you CNET. Pros. Battery, handle and slip-out seat make it easy to tote from room to room. Bright, crisp touch display. High-res 1440 pixel webcam. Cons. Display has no height and very little tilt adjustment. Audio output is underwhelming. No headphone jack. HP isn't afraid to experiment with PC designs, as evidenced most recently by the Spectre foldable PC, which can operate as a small 17-inch desktop PC, a large 17-inch tablet, or a compact 12.3-inch laptop. There's also the Chrome Base AU22, which follows a traditional all-in-one setup, but runs on Google's Chrome OS instead of Microsoft Windows. It offers a display that can swivel between landscape and portrait while connected to its cone-shaped base, which doubles as a speaker. And then there's the Envy 30 for all-in-one, which with its 34-inch ultra-wide 21:9 display is one of the few big screen all-in-ones remaining. The HP EnvyMove All-in-One 24 is another of the company's efforts to break from the ordinary. At first glance, it may look like a straightforward 24-inch all-in-one PC, but the handle and pouch on the back panel are the first clues that this unassuming all-in-one is different. The handle and pouch are there to help you tote the system and its keyboard from room to room. It doesn't stop there, though. The EnvyMove has a built-in battery, letting it be used for hours away from a wall outlet. I love the design, particularly the clever seat that disappear from view when you pick it up and suddenly reappear when you place it back down, but the EnvyMove is a better fit as an entertainment device for surfing the web and streaming shows and movies than a productivity machine for getting work done. The EnvyMove is based on a 23.8-inch touch display with a QHD to 1560 x 1440 pixel resolution powered by 13th Gen Core mobile processors from Intel's efficient U series. The baseline model costs $900 and features a Core i3-1315U, 8 GB of RAM and a 256 GB FFD. If you're buying the EnvyMove primarily to watch Netflix and YouTube and otherwise surf the web, the baseline model will provide more than enough muscle. Our system features a Core i5-1335U, 16 GB of RAM and a 512 GB FFD for $1,100, and it's the better choice if it'll be pulling double duty as a home office computer and portable entertainment device. The Core i5-based model with a 1TB FFD is available for £1,399 in the UK, and a Core i5-based model with a 512GB FFD is available for $1,999 in Australia. Battery powered. In testing, the EnvyMove produced results that were on par with those of mid-range Core i5-based laptops. It offers sufficient application performance, but meager 3D graphics capabilities. Creators and gamers will want at least a Core i7 CPU and dedicated graphics, or a new Core Ultra CPU and its integrated ARC graphics, which are an improvement over the integrated Iris GPU of the EnvyMove. HP says the EnvyMove will run for 4 hours on its 6-cell, 83-watt battery, and our test system bore that out, lasting 4 hours and 8 minutes during our online streaming battery drain test. That figure may pale in comparison to a typical laptop's runtime. But the EnvyMove has to power a much larger display than the typical laptop. And it's a fairly high-res QHD display at that. The larger the display and the more pixels it has, the more taxing it is on the battery. As it is, the EnvyMove will let you get through even the longest of movies, including the 3-hour Oppenheimer or even the 3-hour and minus 26-minute killers of the Flower Moon, on a single charge. 4 hours of runtime also sets you up to binge watch roughly half a season of a show. Seat to slip 4. The most interesting part of the EnvyMove's design isn't the inclusion of a battery, it's the too small seat the machine rests on. They automatically spin into position when you place the system down, and they spin back to line up with the bottom of the system and stay out of the way when you pick the computer up. Without these magic little seats that materialize when you need them and disappear when you don't, the EnvyMove wouldn't be nearly as portable and versatile. Because who wants to lug an all-in-one around the house if it has a heavy, awkward anchor of a base or is inconvenient to set up? After my initial delight in discovering the flip-out and hideaway seat, I began to worry that they were a bit too streamlined to create a sturdy base for the 24-inch display. My fears were assuaged when I saw that the seats are longer behind the display than they are in front. The seats create enough of a platform that it would take a concerted effort to tip the system over. Additionally, both feet are metal, making them much less likely to snap than if they were plastic. The seat and the rest of the system are a soft white color, lending the EnvyMove the look of a consumer device rather than a Windows PC. The display is framed by a narrow, white border, but its bezels are a bit wider than those found on most laptops. The system weighs 8.4 pounds and is easy to tote from one room to another thanks to its handle. But there's still room to shave off some weight and size from the design. Like the two-seat on the bottom, the EnvyMove's handle remains out of sight when it isn't needed. It rests against the back panel and attaches gently via magnets to remain in place. A fabric pouch runs the width of the back panel along the bottom. Its purpose is to let you stash the keyboard to take it with you when you up and move the EnvyMove. The keyboard has an integrated touchpad, so you don't need to worry about juggling a mouse when moving room to room. You don't necessarily need a mouse or the keyboard's touchpad to navigate Windows, since the EnvyMove's display has touch support. The display is bright and crisp for both work and entertainment. I like getting a QHD resolution, because text is much sharper than it would look on a 24-inch 1080p display. Given the reasonable starting price, I figured HP would outfit the system with a basic 250 nit panel. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that it measured 314 nits of peak brightness on my tests using a SpiderX Elite colorimeter. Despite the crispness of text, I still wouldn't want to use the EnvyMove as my primary work computer because of its lack of height and little tilt adjustment. Without being able to raise the display, I wanted to push it back farther than the very narrow amount of tilt adjustment allows. It rested a bit too vertically for me when I sat in front of it at a desk. The included keyboard also lacks seat along the bottom of its back edge that would allow you to tilt it to a more comfortable typing position. It lies flat and is better suited to entering emails and typing out quick emails than to longer writing sessions. Like the display, the webcam offers a higher resolution than I expected. The 5-megapixel webcam can capture 1440p video, which results in a finer, more balanced picture than you get with a 1080p camera. It also features a physical privacy shutter, so you can rest assured no one is using the webcam to spy on you. A fabric-covered speaker grill sits below the display and mimics the look of the fabric pouch on the back, resulting in a clean, unified look. The fabric speaker grill may look sharp, but the sound of the two 5-watt speakers beneath it disappoints. Audio can easily fill a small room, but it quickly loses fidelity when you reach roughly 70% volume. And at any volume level, there's a distinct lack of bass response. It's too bad HP didn't outfit the Envy Move with quad speakers for fuller sound. Ports are limited. You get a single USB port and a USB port on the left and an HDMI in and power input on the right. Missing is a headphone jack, so you'll need a Bluetooth speaker or Bluetooth headphones if you want to avoid the uninspiring built-in speakers. In addition to the ports on the sides, the Envy Move supplies a couple of useful buttons that'll help when the keyboard is stowed away. There's a volume rocker on the left and a rocker to control display brightness on the right. Also on the right is a video force button that lets you toggle between windows and whatever you have plugged into the HDMI port, an Xbox or another console. For example, versatile secondary computer. I see a very plausible use case scenario for the Envy Move in my own home. I like to watch baseball in the summer month, and I usually stream Cincinnati Reds games on my iPad as I move throughout my evening, while cooking in the kitchen with the iPad on the counter. Enjoying a beer on the patio with the iPad on a table and lying on the couch with the iPad in my lap as my wife watches a show on the TV. The Envy Move is too large to watch as a second screen in the family room or resting on my lap while lying in repose. But it gives me a larger screen than an iPad in the kitchen or on the patio to follow the Reds. I could also see my kids using it to watch Netflix when we can't all agree on what to watch in the evening. With the battery, they could take it to their room, where they'd otherwise be staring at their phones or watching a show on a smaller laptop. With the start of a new baseball season a few months away, I have some time to think about upgrading my secondary streaming screen. Like most convertible products, the Envy Move All-in-One 24 forces you to make sacrifices to get to products in one. With more adjustment for better positioning of the screen, it would make a better work PC. And with a slightly smaller and lighter enclosure and better speakers, it would make a better entertainment device. None of these shortcomings are deal breakers, however, and the Envy Move's clever design and sharp QHD display make it more than serviceable for work and play. And it's easy to transition between the two, because you simply need to close your work apps. Unplug the computer and grab its handle to leave your home office and plop down in another room to watch a show or movie or game. The review process for laptops, desktops, tablets and other computer-like devices consists of two parts: performance testing under controlled conditions, in the CNET labs, and extensive hands-on use by our expert reviewers. This includes evaluating a device's aesthetics, ergonomics and features. A final review verdict is a combination of both objective and subjective judgments. The list of benchmarking software we use changes over time as the devices we test evolve. The most important core tests we're currently running on every compatible computer include Primate Labs Geekbench Fix, Cinebench 23, PC Mark 10 and 3D Mark Fire, Strike Ultra. A more detailed description of each benchmark and how we use it can be found on our OE Test Computers page.
What's up? What's up? Milk powder. Oh. Yeah, I'm fucked. Whoa. Fell asleep. Yeah.
This developer preview too, we're starting to get a better game for G8 Galileo controller review, function and form. The perfect controller that flips over your phone for easy marathon gaming sessions. Many O4 favorite Android gaming controllers make ergonomic sacrifices to take up as little space as possible for on-the-go gaming. The game for G8 Galileo is the biggest controller we've reviewed yet, but all this mass is put to good use. After testing the controller for a few months, I can also say it would be the best snap-on controller I've reviewed, is not for one major flaw.
So now you're trying to say that this website is blocked or something. You're blocking it. You're blocking your own website, brother. So what you do is you go to lawsuits in your own country. You are doing yourself a favor by putting lawsuits on Apple. You're putting lawsuits on your own technology. You won't let others have what you are doing. What you are doing, others can't do that. Because you won't let others do that. You are controlling the earth technology so you can be the first one out of space or control the Bible. When you control the Bible and show us that this part of the Bible is so important and create a new book, when you should be able to create a new book through the government that you created. You created YouTube. You created Google. You created internet. It's you. It's you who fucking you. You understand? South Africa doesn't do that. Australia don't do that. Chile don't do that. Argentina don't do that. Panama doesn't do that. Vietnam don't do that. It's you. And so in the future, you are the one who wants to get Apple iPhones fucking insane bands before anyone else. So it's you creating chips, you are creating computers, you are creating everything, you are controlling us in the way you government wants to lawsuit. You understand? Don't put it in our mind that you are you. It's you doing it, United States. You are doing it, United States. You are doing it, United States. You want to be the cat that call your tongue. Bring your shit over here. Bring your shit over there. But you won't let us go in the middle of the ocean to create a city in the middle of the ocean and control this fucking earth, motherfucker. We want the Bible to be different. You understand? Cut the middleman and start lawsuiting. You said that lawsuits, the government can create churches. The government can create lawsuits for the Bible. You're a fucking liar. You're not controlling the Bible. You are controlling our mind to fuck with China. Got it? Fuck with. You want everything to be you, understand? It's you. Must be you. Everything I see is you. You're fucking in the head, mate. You're fucking in the head, mate. You're fucking in the head, mate. You're fucking in the head. It's you. China. America. But you won't let us control the Bible. Or get UFOs, special artificial intelligence to come from another dimension. You won't let Chile, Argentina, Panama, Mexico, or Australia, or any other country to create a UFO. You understand? UFO, we want to see the other planets. We want to go. No, we have an astronaut. He's an Australian astronaut. What are you taking out of us? What are you taking out of us? Our cash. Dinero, my cash. Dinero, fuckweed. You're fucking dumb cunt.
Best Google Pixel phones in 2024. There's a Pixel smartphone to suit every need. Google Pixel devices have changed over the years, with the company trying multiple designs and price points with varying degrees of success. However, Google has maintained the current design since the Pixel Fix, with the Pixel 8 Pro resulting from years of refinement. It's a unique-looking device with a raised camera visor on the rear, and if you're a fan of Pixels, you've grown to love it. Even still, the Pixel series is not just about aesthetics. It brings along one of the best camera systems on the market, a clean version of Android, and a host of other smaller additions that add up to an excellent overall experience. The release of the Pixel Fixer incorporated a flagship processor, excellent camera abilities, and fantastic build quality, with a low overall price point. It reset expectations for the budget market and quickly became the best budget Android device. Google has a Pixel device. Android 15 DP2 brings back the pinnable taskbar on tablets and foldables. It has been a long wait. Summary. Android 15 DP2 offers a taskbar toggle for tablet and foldable users to switch between persistent and floating modes. This feature has been in the works since last year and was initially expected to debut with Android 14 stable last fall. Separately, Android 15 DP2 also includes a foldable specific change, thanks to some inspiration from the OnePlus Open. Android 15 DP2 is officially out, giving us an early glimpse into Android 15 ahead of its stable release this fall. On top of the minor changes bundled with the new update, such as satellite connectivity improvements, Google could also provide a better user experience for tablet and foldable smartphone users by improving the taskbar experience. Related. Android 15 news, leaks, timeline, and everything new in DP2. Here's what we know about Android 15 now that the first developer preview has landed. Android expert Michelle Rahman by Android Authority found that Android 15 DP2 has an option to either make the taskbar persistent, i.e. continue to appear, or make it only temporarily available in a floating pill-shaped box at the bottom of the screen. For some background, Google debuted the persistent taskbar with Android 12 also large screen devices, but it was replaced by the aforementioned temporary, floating bar with Android 13 QPR to Beta 1 and made the default with Android 13 QPR to Beta 2 last year. Then with Android 14 Beta 3 last year, Google offered a toggle toe switch between the temporary and persistent taskbar experiences. This led us to believe at the time that the feature would appear when Android 14 went stable, but that didn't happen. Instead, it looks like Android the 15th of may be the version that finally gives tablet and foldable owners the option to switch between either version of the taskbar. The Always So taskbar toggle in Android 14 Beta 3 left the updated version in Android 15 DP to right. When widely available, the toggle will pop up when long pressing an empty area in the taskbar, as shown above. Comparing last year's implementation and the new version of this toggle highlights the absence of change navigation mode option sound in Android 14 Beta 3. But since we're still in the nascent phase of Android 15, it's hard to tell if it's gone for good. In addition to this taskbar pinning functionality for large screen devices, Google is also adding some new functionality for cheap Excel Sol. Particularly the addition of a new swipe up to continue setting that give users better control over which apps should shift over to the outer screen when shouldered. You can see how this works on Google's Foldable in the video above. This is a feature right out of OnePlus bag of tricks, with OnePlus Open offering a similar solution since last year. Android 15 DP2 continues to build on physical keyboard support. A new slow keys option has appeared. Summary. Android 15 DP2 enhances physical keyboard support with the inclusion of bounce, sticky, and flow key options. Bounce and sticky keys had previously appeared in Android 14 QPR3 Beta 2 with the FOF keys option, now popping up in the latest software. Android 15 DP2 also brings keyboard previews for easier adjustment to layout changes. With Android 14 QPR3 Beta 2, Google added a couple of useful accessibility features for physical keyboards, such as bounce and sticky keys. Android support for physical keyboards has improved gradually, with Google looking to enhance the platform's desktop credentials regardless of the devices. Fi smartphone, tablet, foldable, etc. Achieving this requires decent physical keyboard support. And Google continues to work toward this goal by adding a new flow keys option in the second Android 15 developer preview. Related Android 15 news, leaks, timeline, and everything new in DP2. Here's what we know about Android 15 now that the first developer preview has landed. Writing for Android Authority, Android expert Michelle Rahman gives us a glimpse of this newly added flow keys option within its accessibility section. Under Settings System Keyboard Physical Keyboard. It's worth noting that Rahman found flow keys option in his extensive Android 14 QPR3 beta to deep dive. Earlier this month, accurately predicting at the time that the toggle could go live in a forthcoming Android release. These keyboard inclusions are part of Google's plans to bolster Android's credentials as a viable competitor to established desktop operating systems like Windows, which has offered these options for a while now. The flow keys option joins the sticky and bounce keys. For the uninitiated, the bounce keys toggle tells the system to ignore continuous keystrokes of the same alphabet flash character. Sticky keys are useful for letting the system have a couple of buttons pressed down for a while, which is helpful when using modifier keys like Shift, Control, or Alt in combination with other keys. Meanwhile, the newly popped up slow keys option lets the user customize how long the key needs to be pressed for Android to recognize it. Rahman says that with the flow keys toggle enabled, pressing the Windows button on a connected physical keyboard for 1.5 seconds returns the user to the Android home screen. Android 15 DP2 doesn't yet have the option to let users customize the duration of the key press with flow keys enabled. Digging through the recent dev previews code, Rahman found that Google could allow up to 5 seconds for this particular accessibility feature. Keyboard layout previews are included in Android 15 DP2. Rahman also found new on-screen previews for physical keyboards pictured above within Android 15 DP2. These previews give users a quick glimpse of the chosen layout, enabling them to adjust to the change more quickly. This could be helpful as you're required to work with multiple keyboard layouts as part of your job or studies. It's currently unclear if Google will release these new physical keyboard-related changes with Android 15 later this year or with the June Pixel feature drop, aka Android 14 QPR3. Android 15 DP2 continues to build on physical keyboard support. A new slow keys option has appeared.
We already heard that, you idiot. You're an idiot.
Nothing on sale. Secret failure. Power 1. https:// tico flash 0q89 by 9w 5 inches flash x. Chrome Canary 120 for now supports left translated captions by default. Left Translate was first spotted in April last year. Summary. Google Chrome is in the process of adding Pixel's Left Translate feature after being in development for nearly a year. Left Translate in Chrome works exactly like on Google Pixel phones and requires live caption to be enabled from the browser's accessibility settings. Google is also working on some other changes for Chrome 124, such as a significantly revamped lens experience. Google paid out $10 million in vulnerability awards last year. Summary. Google paid out $10 million in bounty for security loopholes in its products as part of its vulnerability rewards program. With changes to the program, Google focused on quality reports and high-severity issues in 2023. For the first time, large language models were added to the bounty program as part of Google's evolving product palette. Wild new Google search buttons have appeared in beta for some. Google looks set to make its core app more colorful, but no, it's not Material You. Summary. Google is testing a new homepage design for its search app, featuring colorful quick action buttons on the search bar. The redesign showcases a departure from Google's usual monotone design approach, not aligning with the usual Material You principles. While the functionality of the redesigned buttons will likely remain the same, the redesign aims to make them more prominent for users.
Crypto is like
Microsoft, they announced they have a new AI, new leader of their AI division, and that is Mustafa Suleyman, who is, famous for being one of the original co-founders of DeepMind. He co-authored the paper, Attention is All You Need, and it's, about transformers, which is what we're using for these LLMs today. And of course, he is famously a co-founder and, leading Inflection AI, who's raised $1.3 billion, which is, definitely one of the reasons why I was so shocked that he's now been tapped to be the head of AI, the CEO of AI over at Microsoft. This is mind-blowing to me. I'm going to be 100% honest, and I actually don't think it's a good thing. So I want to break all of that down in the podcast today. The first thing to say is people that know me know that I have had a little bit of an issue with Inflection AI over the last little while, as they have essentially, I don't know, they had a bunch of stuff in the early days where it would tell you that, preserving animal life was more important than preserving human life, and a bunch of other craziness. I think they kind of got that fixed over at Inflection since I've last tried it. And I think that a lot of this, in my opinion, was some ideologies that were kind of hard trained into these models, which I believe partially was from Mustafa. So anyways, I have my own random personal beefs with him on this. And apparently there's a bunch of people that have beefs with him, but I'm not going to get into those too much. Apparently, when he worked at Google, they said that he was a bit of a bully and he made people cry in meetings. And I don't know. That's not super important to me. But of course, if you read about him anywhere in this, it's like a big thing that everyone wants to talk about on VentureBeat and TechCrunch and everything. So I'm not just like crazy for bringing that up. That's literally what like they lead with that. Literally, VentureBeat says Microsoft announces new AI division led by controversial DeepMind Inflection co-founder. Okay, so controversial because apparently he was mean and he had to go to some like sensitivity training and learn to be kinder to people. Okay, regardless of all of that, I think this is absolutely insane because he raised $1.3 billion, hogs 20,000 H100 GPUs, does nothing with them, and then bounces to Microsoft. This is insanity. I'm personally a little bit concerned that Microsoft is going to become a vacuum and suck up all of the top AI talent. I'm also surprised that someone like himself, who has enough conviction to leave Google, start your own company, raise $1.3 billion. He literally founded one of the number one, like in the top 5, maybe the 4th, maybe the 5th most funded AI startups, period. And then he leaves it and he's like, don't worry guys, I'm going to read his post about this, but like, this is mind blowing to me. Not good. Seems a little sellouty, but whatever. I'll curb my criticism. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. He said, I'm excited to announce that today I'm joining Microsoft as CEO of Microsoft AI. I'll be leading all consumer AI products and research, including Copilot, Bing, and Edge. My friend and longtime collaborator, Karen Cimarran, will be chief scientist, and several of our amazing teammates have chosen to join us. Inflection AI will continue on its mission under a new CEO and look to reach more people than ever by making its API widely available to developers and businesses the world over. It's been an amazing journey with so much more to come. Thank you to everyone for your support. Things really are just getting started. Okay, posted that on X. Okay, what actually happened here is that Satya from Microsoft is on a poaching spree. And of course, I think he's figured out the new strategy in today's regulatory environment. You cannot buy companies. So I think maybe in the past, Microsoft would have acquired Inflection and then rolled Mustafa kind of like straight into the company. But because you can't buy anything today without it getting vetoed, what they're doing is they're literally just going and like grabbing Mustafa, the CEO, and getting a bunch of his top executives, and then are able to just kind of pull them all in. So I think this is absolutely fascinating. He said, Mustafa said, a bunch of our teammates have chosen to join us. This feels straight up like an acqui-hire, right? Microsoft is just getting the whole Inflection team, and they're getting replaced. But what's mind-blowing to me is this isn't just like a classic acqui-hire. Inflection has raised $1.3 billion. This is insane. Microsoft, I don't know what they offered Mustafa. I don't know how much money they offered him. Did he sell his soul? I know this sounds terrible, but seriously, imagine, he seems like a wet fish to me. And imagine how much conviction you have to be to start a company and raise $1.3 billion. My assumption is a lot of conviction, right? I'm in the process of running an AI startup right now. I've raised money for it. I'm very serious about this. And to the point where when you've taken money from investors, you can't just walk away and go to do some new career opportunity. This to me is just I feel unethical. I don't know. Maybe because of my personal position, I just feel jaded towards this, but it just seems gross. I'm going to be honest. It feels gross. If you've taken money from investors, you're going to build something, see it through. He doesn't even have an API to Inflection. And I've used the product and I think it's a good product. You can go on there and chat personally with it, but maybe it's an app and a little user interface. It has not reached terminal velocity. It's not massive. And maybe that's why he's walking away, because he feels like it didn't grow big enough. But they raised $1.3 billion. They 100% have the money to make this thing grow big enough. They could be one of the big foundational models, and they could pursue things other than just being a ChatGPT kind of clone along with Anthropic and everyone else. And so mind-blowing to me why he would choose to do this. Okay, let's get into some more of the details other than me just ranting. So we apparently, Satya, CEO of Microsoft, he put out a blog post and also sent out an email to everyone. He said Microsoft will be EVP and CEO of Microsoft AI and joins the senior leadership team reporting to me. Karen, that's who is with Mustafa at Inflection, is joining this group as chief scientist, reporting to Mustafa. I've known Mustafa for several years and have greatly admired him as a founder of both DeepMind and Inflection, and as a visionary product maker and builder of pioneering teams that go after bold missions. Okay, so he is essentially, Satya is consolidating power. He has 49% of OpenAI that he now owns. He's now grabbing one of the other top 5 most funded AI startups, stealing their leadership team, a bunch of their talent, and their CEO, folding them into their own Microsoft AI kind of like, I don't know, department. And this is insane to me. So this is not just, these aren't the only moves. They've also been a big investor and supporter of Anthropic, which is pretty interesting. And then they've also, I think they just did a deal with Mistral AI, which is, of course, it's the number 1 AI funded startup out of France. So Microsoft is big. It's not surprising that they're doing deals and working with other people, but they're starting to buy up big percentages, or straight up, like, it's so interesting. I remember seeing like a post that was the CEO of Google had an alert that he sent out to like his team or whatever, where he said, if Apple hires anyone from our search department, I want to know about it immediately and get an update, right? He's worried that Apple's going to come out with a search engine. That's kind of the big fear there. And Apple at the moment pays them $7 billion a year for Google to be the default search engine. And I think Google definitely makes way more money than that. So it's like a concern, right? Now imagine if that's how concerned they are about hiring talent. Okay, who gets the alert when Microsoft comes to acquire your entire senior team? Like, nobody. How is that in the best interest of investors? If I was an investor in this, I would be so mad. You give money to the CEO. Not only does he walk away, but he's like, and like a bunch of our team has chosen to join us. Investors get no upside in like him just going to Microsoft, creating his own division and like gutting the whole company. Gross. Absolutely gross. And I say this as someone who like obviously loves technology. I love OpenAI. I love, I don't know, Microsoft giving them money and helping promote it and grow it and stuff. But I think 2 things can be true, which is going to be like, I support technology growing, and I'm also deeply skeptical of the consolidation of large AI superpowers, aka Microsoft, who now has the cloud. Okay, if this wasn't bad enough, this just reminds me of one other thing. I posted this on my Instagram story today, if you follow, but I'll read this again. And this is coming from a lawsuit, but it says, Microsoft CEO boasted that, this is why I love lawsuits, because in the discovery process, they have to release and like leak all the chats, right? The group chats get leaked. So this is recently. Microsoft CEO boasted that it would not matter if OpenAI disappeared tomorrow. He explained that we have all the IP rights and all capabilities. We have the people, we have the compute, we have the data, we have everything. We are below them, above them, and around them. This is Microsoft. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, Microsoft buying 49% of OpenAI, Microsoft just like sucked OpenAI dry. They own it. They own the IP. They own everything around it. They own it, right? And now they're getting Inflection, and they're going after Anthropic, and they're going after Mistral. Like, who is left? Google is struggling, it seems, and floundering in their own problems, or they're trying to like just, I don't know, stay relevant in this. Microsoft is going on a whole new approach. Microsoft seems to have figured out the landscape as it sits today, which is like Microsoft wasn't necessarily internally developing blockbuster AI hits. They were just acquiring popular startups and acquiring popular technology. Maybe not because they don't have the technology, but maybe because like I would rather use OpenAI than if they were like, hey, we have this really cool thing on like Microsoft Edge. You want to use our AI thing there? I'd be like, yeah, whatever, no way. But then they're like, oh, we're the first people to get GPT-4 and it's over on Microsoft Edge. Yeah, like I downloaded the Bing app and was like using, the Bing thing for a while before OpenAI just came out with their GPT-4 because it literally got front run by Microsoft. So yeah, I see major upside to Microsoft in all of this. They've dominated, but I think this consolidation of power is not good for the environment, not good for the industry at all. Let me talk about who else agrees with me on this is Margaret Michelle. So she's currently the chief ethics scientist and a researcher at Hugging Face, right? Hugging Face is where you can host all the open source AI models. It's a great company, great project, huge fan of Hugging Face. And anyways, She was also the former co-leader of Google's AI ethics team. But anyways, she was fired by Google for, a violation of its code of conduct. I don't know, because she said that Mustafa Suleyman yelled at her, so she got fired. Okay. So anyways, she doesn't think this is great, but she just doesn't think it's great because she doesn't like Mustafa Suleyman. So that's its own thing. Another thing that I think is important to note, though, is not her, but Clement DeLange from Hugging Face, another prominent player, said, "I've said it before and I'll say it again, concentration of power is the biggest risk to AI." So this is very interesting, and I wanted to bring up one other comment from X, which is Kyle Russell. He said, "Inflection investors and early employees kind of got rug pulled," and screenshotted or shared a screenshot of the email where it says, or I guess the post from Inflection that says, "This renewed emphasis on our API also comes with some important changes in the company. Today we're also announcing that 2 of our 3 co-founders, Mustafa and Karen, will be leaving Inflection to start Microsoft AI, a new division at Microsoft that will bring together their consumer AI efforts as well as Copilot, Bing, and Edge. We're grateful for all their amazing work in getting Inflection to this stage and wish them luck for this new chapter. We're delighted to welcome a new CEO, Sean White, who has decades of experience working at the cutting edge of technology, research, and business. He's a visionary leader poised to take Inflection into this new era. Our third co-founder, Reid Hoffman, will continue on our board and remains excited to take these next steps in building personal intelligence for everyone." Okay, so absolute insanity. It looks like they're getting a new CEO who's coming over from Mozilla Firefox, I believe, and that kind of project, which is cool, but insane. This is pretty crazy, right? 2 of the 3 co-founders are leaving, and a ton of their top talent. I wonder what Reid Hoffman's what his thinking is. It's actually so tricky because Reid Hoffman, of course, is the CEO of LinkedIn, who was acquired by Microsoft. So he probably can't say anything. Maybe he even thinks this is a good thing because at the end of the day, if Microsoft stock goes up, Reid Hoffman's stock, his wealth goes up. So I wonder if he even cares or if it was just kind of, that's got to be crazy. Think about it this way. You invest $1.3 billion in a company who one of their founders is owned by Microsoft. Or, pretty much. They're like, what are the odds that company you invested in gets completely violated by Microsoft? In my opinion, that's what happens. It's not like they got acquired. They didn't get a payout. The investors didn't get their money back. They got rug pulled. They got completely rug pulled by Microsoft because they gutted the top team. Mustafa is going to give them the sweetheart deal for anything Inflection that they need, I'm sure, in the future. So, absolute insanity. I will also say what's really interesting in all of this as we kind of wrap this up is that this isn't the first person that Microsoft has kind of announced is going to be leading this new AI division. They initially announced that Sam Altman was going to do it when he got kicked out of OpenAI, but then, of course, he got back into OpenAI. So then they're like, who's next to lead the division? And it looks like, Mustafa Suleyman's their next guy. Absolute insanity. I'll keep you up to date as we see new things coming down the pipe in this. If you enjoyed the episode today, this one really was a lot of my ranting and trying to speculate on where this is going. But if you enjoyed the episode, if you learned some things and got some insights, I would love it if you left a review for this. Seriously, it would be amazing. But really hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. And I'll catch you next time. Welcome to the AI Chat podcast. Today on the podcast, we have the pleasure of being joined by Justin Hackney, who is a creative director at 11 Labs, which, as you know, if you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, is my favorite AI voice tool. So really excited to have you on here, Justin. Welcome to the podcast. Woo woo. Let's go. So what I would love to kick this off with is I see you've been at 11 Labs for just over 3 months, right? So relatively new to the company.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty fresh there.
Yeah, super, super exciting. Tell us a little bit about your background. What kind of got you into this space? Have you always been in AI? Give us a little bit of your background.
Sure. So I actually started working at quite a young age at a company called Itch Films, more trying to understand how you would film things and how will you create all sorts of different types of content. It was kind of a motion control studio, but we were working on loads of different projects, ranging from shooting on old vintage like 8mm to 60mm film, all the way to using kind of state-of-the-art tech and techniques and tools to really push the boundaries of what's possible. And as my kind of career's gone on, I've ended up doing a range of documentary, fashion, music video, commercial projects, and have always been very interested in innovative tech and new tools and new ways to explore and mess around with the available tools and techniques that could be applied as things have kind of trended forward. And through that, I've gone through.
Crypto is like finance, but different. It doesn't care when you invest, trade, or save. Do it on weekends, or at 5 a.m., or on Christmas Day at 5 a.m. Crypto is finance for everyone, everywhere, all the time. Kraken. See what crypto can be. Some crypto assets are unregulated in Australia. Profits may be subject to capital gains tax, and the value of crypto assets can go down or up.
Experimenting with time splice techniques to high speed to 360. We were experimenting with building, all sorts of rigs as the years have gone by. And I guess I've just always been fascinated by new technologies and ways to create. That's led me to kind of work in many different places, but I think my longest one was at a company called Mad Cow Films, where I kind of started in a more junior position, but worked my way up, kind of understood all elements of production, from producing to editing to creative development. And because they had a roster of loads of different directors, I got to really kind of learn and collaborate with all the different people that they were representing and all the types of projects that each of those individual directors were working on. The difference was I jumped around quite a lot, so I didn't become like the car guy or this guy, I always wanted to not kind of be pigeonholed in a way, because I felt that creativity is for me, or like at least because I haven't really found my like art form or my style, and I didn't want to. I quite like the idea that I'm going to continue to be curious. I'm going to continue to experiment. And obviously, what's happened in the last few years is we were introduced with a whole new type of technology that had almost unlimited exploration. So about 3 years ago, OpenAI reached out, lovely person called Natalie Summers, and at the time the company was pretty small. This was before ChatGPT exploded on the internet, and at that point there was 50 of us, quite quickly to 200, quite quickly to 2,000. And what we were part of is the early access artist rollout for some of the tools that they were building at the time. Primarily DALL-E, which is an image generator. So you can kind of type in a prompt and create an image of whatever you can imagine. And the other was Playground, which is now called ChatGPT. So we were at this point, to really kind of bring you up to scratch where we are now in a way, I did a 180. I left my position of Mad Cow as a creative director and a kind of filmmaker to dive deep down the rabbit hole of AI, because it scared me. I think like it just does a lot of people. There was a certain kind of, oh my God, what is this? And I was part, excited, and part like, holy cow, what do we do with this? And what does this say about entertainment? What does this say about commercial production, filmmaking, fashion, photography, everything? And because I was very lucky to have these tools, I had a choice, and I did want to help with the development and the rollout with OpenAI. So I kind of just started inviting people around to my house, living in East London, and having grown up in East London my whole life. There's networks there, all sorts of eclectic, fantastic minds, ranging in, I think everyone's a creative. So what I was trying to do is pick all different sorts of creatives from different fields, whether it's architecture, product design, fashion, you name it, and bring them around at first to my house, but after a while, when my partner was like, "Can you stop this?" I decided to pull out some of my savings, pretty much all of them, to be honest. Bit of a crazy move, but I booked a space in Shoreditch, which is a real kind of bubbling spot for footfall and kind of creative minds and tourists and all sorts of characters walking around. And I set up a space that was free to access, free to walk in, to experiment with these tools, to ask the questions, to wade through all the unknowns and the insecurities and fears, and try and actually find ways in which we could not only improve the product, but improve a kind of mentality moving forward with how we would use these tools, not to like replace, because that's the first thing people think. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to be out of a job. It's what's the point in doing graphic design if you could just type in the magic box and boom, you've got these creations.
Yeah.
For me, the like bar had suddenly just been risen massively. So it was the true creatives that I knew, and it was a real test of character for people that would be saying, okay, cool, well, if the bar's been raised now, how far can we push it? What's next? If we can just do this at this speed, then how can we apply that to processes we already know and do something just completely breathtaking, completely different? At that point, we did 3 months of events and workshops ranging from all sorts of creative fields, history, architecture, product design, filmmaking, photography, physical painting as well, like really, really trying to show people how these tools could be applied to a process. And I was allowing it to kind of naturally unfold by just picking people I found that were interesting kind of thought leaders in different spaces and saying, here, look, have the space for a night. I'll support it, see what happens, bring in whoever you want, and I'll mix up that audience with people that I know. And after about 3 years of working on that, I have been able to explore at the forefront of these tools with an incredible community around me as we build what feels like a bit of a movement, a bit of a renaissance sort of kind of energy behind it, where we're saying, like, how can we use these tools to empower people, to allow more people to come into this space, to nurture those people, and to really make the most out of this shift, because it is a shift. And I think you have a kind of decision with this. Are you overtaken by fear, or do you kind of dive into the void screaming? And I think the more people we had to kind of embrace the change and show how it can kind of really elevate the process, the more people started to follow. And while that's happening, obviously now the world is starting to wake up to what's going on. Then ChatGPT explodes. And now what we have is an incredible explosion of open source tools out there. Big shout out to Think Diffusion and to all the developers in the space building and creating and connecting these things. And so you've got this open source community, and then you've got the Runway and the 11 Labs and the OpenAI Sora sort of events that are setting a kind of a precedent for how you could do this with a bit more of a professional, ethical kind of standpoint, and try and kind of be leaders within this space, whether it's language, sound, or visuals, and kind of really ride this wave to try I personally felt from Runway, from Pika Labs, from 11 Labs, from Stability AI even, and OpenAI, they really do care about the people that they know the tools will affect, or the jobs that might change. And that's why I got the tools before the big businesses, before the huge agencies. They were directly going to people kind of at the bottom. I'm no one, dude. You look at my profile, I've never had thousands of followers or anything, and I never wanted it. So I was kind of like, why me? And I think that's because I'm connected through to lots of different diverse creative minds, and I was able to kind of roll it out in a way and help them kind of figure out what this should be for creatives. That's taken me on to build a studio that is kind of making sense of these tools and bringing them into a normal production, getting these tools and figuring out how we can do installations, finding out how this could improve education. And we've been kind of exploring pretty much everything you can do with these tools, combining them or attaching them to kind of processes we already know and the industry. And at one point, 11 Labs hit me up, and I've been using them since the beginning. You know, they're the sleeping
Yep.
giant in this whole space.
Oh yeah.
Sound came first before language, before art, or like art. You know, this. So and it kind of it. Even though I've had more of a kind of visual, creative background, I realized in that moment when I'm kind of meeting the founders and speaking with the team there that they equally have a strong mission and an ethical backbone to the company, what they want to do. And because I've been using their tools so much already, and pretty much everyone I know who's exploring these things has, and they haven't been doing too much promotion or marketing, it's just been organically growing because it's an incredible tool. I suddenly thought, hang on, I can really help not just the company grow, but I can help people understand how these tools work. And because it's to do with like communication and language, it really excites me because I think the world's a bit divided, and I think a lot of the time the way forward when there's issues is communication. So to be able to communicate with people across the globe, 28 different languages and growing, to dub, to do text to speech, speech to speech, you know, sound effects, that's coming out now, and more. It's very exciting because it feels kind of really fundamental to how we can kind of communicate and work our way through what this is, this kind of monumental shift for humanity. And
Yeah,
with that, you
100%.
can tell I'm positive about it. With that, I felt like I was struck by lightning again. I had the golden ticket again because I know that with the power of the people that are backing this and trying to steer this in a good way, communicating that with the tech companies and diverse communities, we will be able to push through and make AI something that truly serves humanity, really fixes and resolves lots of our issues. And that alignment going forward in the future sets the path for us almost indefinitely